what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And my friends, you guessed it. You guessed it. We have yet another amazing guest, from eviction notices to commission alerts, my friends, all because determination and transformation. My friends, help me welcome Kirsten to the show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Couldn't complain, and even if I did, it wouldn't do me any good. You know what I mean?
Yep, I do.
Where are you calling in from this morning, Kirsten?
I'm in Michigan.
What part?
Right in the middle, right about here.
Oh, that makes sense to me.
We get to do that.
Wonderful. Michigan's a great state, and there's some great people there, and it's a hard-working state.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of hard-working people there. So tell me, what attracted you from that hard-working, good old Michigan lifestyle, which is a lot of blue-collar workers, I think, based on the people that I know from Michigan, even one that works right inside of this company, our COO. Julie is from Michigan. What led you to the internet, and what were you looking for when you found Legendary?
Yeah, I think I really always wanted to be on the internet just for the flexibility piece, not having to be glued to a 9 to 5 and go in and come out when somebody says I have to. And just kind of always wanted to pave my own path, be my own boss, and live life on my terms, really. So I always knew there was a place for it, and kind of was searching for a long time to find exactly what was the best fit for me. So that's what led me here.
So have you tried other things in the past?
Yeah. I've been in MLMs and just, down the whole rabbit hole of the huge internet world. Started like a couple of my own small online businesses, and really just realized there was so many moving parts, and I didn't have the structure and the simplicity and a system to follow, or the membership that or the leadership really that like kept me on track with just a clear path. So I really got lost in trying to do all of the moving pieces myself, and they all just kind of went, they just flopped because of that.
So I would assume that what's different about this experience is that you're experiencing the opposite of the things that you just said. Can you say more about that for those who also have tried other things in the past and are now beginning this? What's different about this and this experience for you than past experiences?
Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite parts, is that I get to focus on, in my opinion, just one thing, which is marketing, the marketing aspect, right? Like, I don't have to do all the finance, the going out and finding clients, actually doing the client work. It's you set your systems up, it's in place, and my one job is to create quality content, and then there's a little bit of email, that goes on as well. But for the most part, I get to really focus on creating content that helps serve people and solve problems that, are the same problems I went through, that I know so many people also experience.
So in a lot of the other ventures that you were talking about, specifically like MLMs, the strategy is to make a list of friends and family usually, and then go after Grandma Betty and Uncle John and so forth. What's it been like for you to be marketing and attracting total strangers? And is that, how much more do you like that? And are you surprised by how much, business you can do with total strangers, and how much they actually get value from what you're saying? And how maybe it's simpler, easier, maybe there's another word that you would describe it, from those past, again, strategies of kind of hitting your warm market and becoming, as I used to be. I was a most valuable player in the NFL. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
The No Friends Left Club.
Oh, yeah.
You know what
Right.
I mean? Because I was harassing all my friends and family to buy all my lotions, potions, and pills in those early ventures. So what is it like to be doing business with total strangers and have them love you for it?
Yeah, I think with the MLM and the constantly bugging your friends and family, it just felt slimy and salesy, right? Like I don't want to connect with you. Long time no see. Hey, how about this? Open your wallet for me. And
Nobody,
that just
nobody, nobody wants to catch up more than somebody who just joined a new MLM, right?
yeah, yeah. And you know it too because it's so scripted and you're just like, oh, here it goes. And I was there and I'm like, oh, I can't do that again. it's just
Nobody's
it's
more interested in your kids and your family than somebody who just joined a fresh MLM, right?
Yeah.
Golly,
Yeah, and
gotta love
no
it. I
shade
love it.
because to each their own. That you
Totally.
got to do what you got to do, and if it works for you, a lot of people succeed in that. But it didn't work for me. So I feel
Donna
like
should.
having a cold market of people that I don't know is great because I mean, everybody's in a different place, and the right people will see your content if you're doing it the right way, and they'll be attracted to you because of the way that you're promoting the products and all that. So
And it's such a better real world marketing test to act, excuse me, to actually market to strangers
mhm.
and to see their actual responses, right? To see versus Aunt Betty or your mom's best friend or whoever it is, because they're going to give you what we call the pity sale. You know what I mean? They're gonna, oh, I feel bad for them. You know what I mean? Or feel obligated to support your business, and that doesn't actually give you real feedback about whether the strategies that you're using or the product that you have is actually valuable and you can scale it. And so, is this feeling more like a real business? And are you feeling more like a real entrepreneur doing this?
Yeah, because there's a lot. I feel like I'm just scratching the surface, like 6 months in, with looking at like data analytics and seeing like what content really works. And it's so good for my brain to just like have the analysis and look and see like, am I really reaching the right people that I want to be reaching, as opposed to just I literally made a list when I was in the MLM, and I went down that whole list, and I was in that NFL club too. So I think that this is really the best approach because it's like you said, it's giving you that feedback that you're moving in the right direction, and that the content you're creating is speaking to the right people, and it's going to be able to help and serve the right people. Because I don't want to have that pity sale. It's not a get rich quick, and I'm not here to just like, oh hey, thanks, that was nice, and I'm done for now. See you later. Let me move on to the next thing. It's really a business, and that's been a big mindset shift for me because at first I was like, oh, this could be quick and this could be great. And I've learned that it's so much bigger than that. It really is like a big picture. What am I doing here? And it's been so insightful to really like look at myself. I feel like this business has caused me to like put a mirror up to my face and say, who am I and how do I get to be more me and more transparent and authentic in sharing my journey and my story, because I don't want to just send those cold scripts. I don't want to reach people just to have a quick sale. I want to really help people long term.
Mhm. And that's great awareness that you had, that you were actually coming into this with sort of a overnight success expectation, or at least fantasy hope, right? And why wouldn't you be? You were facing eviction notices and you've been, right? That makes a lot of sense. If
Mm-hmm.
you're in survival mode, desperate people usually do desperate things, right?
Right.
That I've done desperate things. When I'm in a desperate situation, I do desperate things. I'm not speaking about other people, I'm speaking about human beings. And so can you tell us a little bit about your eviction notices and your bottom and some of the things that you've are fighting to come back from or move away from into a better life? And how did you shift your mindset during such trials and tribulations?
Yeah. I mean, we were really, really at the bottom, like pretty much anything you could think, like we were financially there, like the eviction notice, the lights got shut off, bills and collections, like, and the thing is, like, we are not like crazy spenders. We weren't doing anything wrong. We just were living on one income because I'm a stay-at-home mom, and that was our decision because we wanted to raise our child at home, and that was like most important to us. And so it's not that we were doing anything wrong. It's not like we're playing the lottery or anything. The goal really was to just um, be able to cover those basics and to be able to, eventually get the organic groceries and then have the holistic supplements, like really like build towards the life of like quality, and so at first having been in such a low place, like I already knew where my goal was. I already knew the big picture where I really wanted to be. And so the mindset piece of, we're in this low place, but I'm trying to get out, for me was like a one day at a time kind of thing. And I knew that if I would start and plug away one day at a time and I could commit to myself to just stay consistent, I knew that there would be a return. At the beginning of the year, I always have a scripture for the beginning of the year to carry me through. And this year was to not grow weary in doing good, for at the right time, you'll reap a harvest. And that's couldn't be more true. And that's really kind of been like my motto for all of this is plug away, stay consistent, stay doing the tasks that you need to do, and it grows.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So just how I mean how still much in this are you, and how long ago was it that you were hitting financial rock bottoms? I mean, is this here all within the last 12 months?
Yeah. Hmm.
So you're marketing, you're creating content as you're going through these challenges, and obviously you're still not all the way out of them. Nobody
Right.
could be that fast. So how are you creating marketing content when and it looks like you're talking about affiliate marketing and either going to be or starting out here in the kind of online marketing or online business niche. And so how are you talking about, money and success and financial freedom while you are still in the process of finding your financial freedom?
Yeah. Honestly, the two things that I've kind of, through time come to realize that, this business really is like the core is the mindset and the content. And I had a lot of imposter syndrome at the beginning for that reason, but I learned how to share hope with people, and also kind of like, spur myself on in the meantime, like, hey, like this is the potential. And being that I've been in and tried all these other business models, when I first came across Legendary, I didn't have any skepticism. It was so clear as day, and I had never heard of affiliate marketing before, but the business model made so much sense to me that I knew it could work. And, I've seen all the success stories, and I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. I started at zero just like everybody else. And along the way, it's just been surrounding myself with the right support, continuing to remind myself of, doing good and not growing weary. And yeah, sorry,
It's fine.
realize. um, just staying on
What's
track
up,
and having
brother?
the
How you
support
doing, man?
from this
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. What's up, brother? Good to
Yeah.
see. Yeah, it's not that official.
Yeah. And also, one of the things that I've learned is key is keeping my mind kind of like plugged into the game, watching these legendary calls, and um, you know, talking with other affiliates, just staying, in the zone of this being my world.
Mm. Yeah, it helps. Well, speaking of faith, right? Like for example, there's kids that are up there singing the praises of God, right, in church on Sundays,
Hmm.
and they're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, right? I
Yeah.
mean, why don't they have imposter syndrome, right? Do they even know really what they're talking about? No, they believe and they feel the hope around them and they feel the positive energy, et cetera, et cetera, and they're singing and rejoicing and etc. Right? The
Yeah.
same thing, and they don't question. They don't go, "Well, I'm too young. I don't.
Yeah.
I have. I haven't had.
What'll people
I
think of
haven't."
me? No, it's childlike faith. They don't
It,
question it.
totally,
Yeah.
totally, right. And that childlike faith and that childlike playfulness, that childlike
Yeah.
curiosity is something that's so important in entrepreneurship. How are you, transitioning from employee to entrepreneur in terms of allowing yourself to try new things? This might be in your content. For example, when I first started marketing, I really thought that I needed to copy everybody down to the way that somebody might have parted their hair, right? Because I had yet to build my own identity as an entrepreneur and a marketer. So, how are you building your own identity, even if before, and how are you also staying curious and creative and sort of childlike in that kind of creative, I'm willing to try things and not get sort of too locked up in that analysis paralysis?
Yeah, I think it's daily for me really, and it's a lot of it is finding like a good schedule and a good flow that works. Um, I'll go through and like save trending sounds, and I'll you know, try to limit the time that I spend watching other marketers because I don't want to have that analysis paralysis. And I'm trying to really work on like finding my voice and the way that I want to like be perceived. And it's a lot of trial and error, like there's got to be creativity. And I think one of the most important things is letting it just be fun and letting it flow and not putting too much pressure on it, because that's when you just get in your head and don't end up posting. So,
Sure. So what's it been like? I mean, obviously this is real life. Dogs walking around, the hubbies walking around, kids probably not too far behind them. I mean, I
yeah.
I thankfully just don't have kids and stuff running around here because I've got a workhouse that's around the
Hmm.
corner because I can and because I like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm sure in the near future you can have that too, or will have that if you want that as well. Um, what's it been like to incorporate this into your life and be recording videos and be on this live now, and it's got to have been a transition, both for you but also for your family too. How have you made that or tried to make that smoother?
Yeah, I at first was really uncomfortable filming in front of my husband, and I would
Right.
like be so
Totally.
shy and want to run away.
Yeah, more so
But
than even
now it's
strangers, right? I mean, a lot of people say that, and I think I had that thing too of not wanting to record in front of my wife. Sorry to interrupt, but
yeah,
that's a major, identification piece there. A lot of people can relate to that.
yeah, and I'm trying to even like stretch myself and challenge myself to get more comfortable doing it and like wherever I am, which like, it'll come. I'm still working on it, still human. But yeah, now my husband, like it's so normal and I just go around doing whatever. And a lot of it for me is like finding the cracks in the day. Nap time is a big one.
Mm,
And really like finding that flow for me means like being prepared ahead of time so that when I sit down and I've got like an hour or two during nap time, I know exactly what I'm doing. Because I really did waste a lot of time before trying to scroll and see what everybody else is doing. Oh, should I copy this video?
yeah.
And then I just wasted the whole time scrolling. So now I already have like sounds and like exact things that I know I want to talk about. Um, and looking into like analytics and knowing what works best, what it is that people want to see, and kind of like recreating those things and repurposing and just being more efficient. So it's come in time for sure, but it really is just in the cracks of my day. Sometimes I'll send my husband out saying, please go. I need this time. So he's been really, really great and supportive to, get out of the house with the little one. And
Oh, that's nice.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's nice, and it's hard. It's hard. I don't know what it's like to be on the other side of me. I'm sure it's not easy. And it's scary, I'm sure, when our spouses see us doing something new and different, and also putting ourselves out there, and like, are you okay? Are you going to be safe? Are you going to blow our lives up? Yeah, just all the fears, all the things. I mean, now we're sharing our life with somebody. If you have a partner, a spouse, a husband, wife, whatever, you're sharing your life there. Kind of what you do affects them. And that's great to hear, though, that you guys are finding your way there.
Hmm.
And so what sort of a lot of times I say don't quit before the miracle happens, and a lot of times people think that I mean the $1 million in your bank account. What little miracles have you noticed along the way? What little wins have you begun to celebrate, or did you start to celebrate at the beginning, that kept you going and kept you with the hope that you needed to stay consistent?
Yeah, I always try to celebrate every little win and know that it's just like, growth towards the big ones. So every commission email, every new follower, like growing the pages. I think, obviously people talk about getting to the 1,000 followers on TikTok. That was exciting, of course. And yeah, just like continuing to learn and continuing to just um, work towards it. I feel like, there's slumps and there's ups and downs and all of that, but yeah, always celebrating like every little thing, the messages that come in, and being able to, like, answer questions always feels good, because I had no idea what I was doing when I started. I really had never even heard of it. So it feels really good to be able to, like, just share my journey with other people and give them clarity so they know like what they're getting into, if it's going to work for them, and then like next steps, really, because I get a lot of questions on um, if this will work, if that will work, and people don't really know. So that's always a good thing to give them, like, my insight.
Yeah. It's always the simplest questions, too, that confuse people the most. I saw a question in here. I want to put it up on the screen if I can find it. How do you start? Oh, I guess it was this question, which is, oh, how did Kirsten start? Right? Like, start being in all caps, which is such an ambiguous question, right? And one thing that I just want to tell everybody or share with everybody is, I learned personally that when I ask ambiguous questions, I kind of get like ambiguous, frustrating answers. I don't get specific answers.
Mhm.
So and this is so big with marketing, because we're communicating to people and usually asking them to do specific things. We don't want them to just say, oh, that video is cool, and keep scrolling. We want them to do the specific thing.
Mhm.
So it's really important to be more specific. And the more specific the question you ask, the more specific the answer that you're usually going to get. Just keep that in mind for all of you who are feeling like you're wanting more answers to questions that you have. Ask more specific questions. Like, for example, instead of how did Kirsten start, what was the first video that you created? Or how long did it take you to get through the first 3 days of the challenge? Or how long did you watch people's videos before you clicked on one of their affiliate links and actually signed up for the challenge? Like, these are all specific questions that can help you get better answers to the questions that you're wondering. For those of you who are sitting around kind of brand new, you don't know where to start. Well, if you haven't purchased our online business builder challenge, start there, right? Go through the challenge, decide if you want any of our other education, if you want that additional coaching, go through it, talk to a business plan advisor, talk to other people inside of the community, right? But ultimately make your own decision and have your own experience. How important, Kirsten, was it for you at the beginning to evaluate things on your own and make a decision for yourself versus just doing what other people told you to do or taking their opinions and adopting them as your own.
Yeah, I had to really like observe for a while and kind of like do analysis and look and see like, you know, if they're doing it, is this something that I could see myself doing? And I spent a ton of time, you know, just binging everyone's content, seeing what their you know, their funnels looked like, and just kind of taking it all in and seeing kind of like what it would look like if I was to step into this. And just learning, doing research on the in the background, really just like um finding out for myself instead of right like just going and doing it. I needed to know for myself if this was something that I could actually see myself doing.
Mm, yeah, cool. Um, so some questions coming in, some more specific ones. Those are great. Tamara said, I just finished the fishing formula section of the blueprints and I'm feeling overwhelmed. Do you have any advice on doing this with my 9 to 5? And I just want to say this before you chime in, Kirsten. If you're feeling overwhelmed, first of all, that's the 4th section in about 12 sections of that particular blueprint. So my advice is keep going. This is such a common thing that I see people do. They begin to go through the course, the 15-day challenge, the blueprints, whatever. They get overwhelmed and they think they should stop. So don't stop. The next section is the compliance section. Then section 5, we show you how to set up your funnel. So keep going at least through section 5. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, you can get on any of the training or coaching calls that we have throughout the week, and also the Decade in a Day workshop. Kirsten, how would you answer that? And do you have any advice on doing this with her 9 to 5? Although you don't have a 9 to 5, you're a stay-at-home mom, but you talk to lots of people that do. Well, how do you answer that?
Yeah, very much the same as you said. Just keep going and fit it into the times of day that it works for you. Cut out other distractions. If you're doing Netflix after work, if you're scrolling on your phone, I always tell people I like to go live on TikTok, and I tell people if you're on TikTok and you're watching this right now, you've got time to be using social media to make money instead of letting social media use you. And so that's just the reality. You really kind of have to get really hard on yourself for a second and you know, ask yourself, am I doing everything that I possibly can be doing? Even if you feel stuck, right, there's resources you can call, connect with people and get answers, and you know, move on. If it's something that, you know, write a question mark by it on your notes and go to the next section. Keep plugging away, and also get started before you feel ready, because you're never going to feel fully ready. And it's a learning thing. You learn as you go, you trial and error, and that's the only way that you grow. So just keep going.
Yeah, yeah, great advice. Don't stop. That's the one thing that's really important for those of you. The other thing that I wanted to say is, if you're feeling overwhelmed, thank God, because that'd be like going to the gym and leaving and saying, I don't feel anything. I'm not sore at all. And would you celebrate that? Would you go, I'm really getting my money's worth out of this trainer or this workout if I'm not feeling anything? No, your muscles are growing when you're sore, when you're overwhelmed, when you're feeling stretched. Folks, this is a very, very important concept, that if you're going to be successful at anything in life, there's going to be some overwhelm. There's going to be some pain. There should be some uncomfortability. If there's not any uncomfortability, then dadgummit, you ain't doing anything.
Yeah.
And this just fires me up, because I just, you know, for whatever reason, I don't know why it is or how or why this happens, but for whatever reason, we survive and struggle through life. All of us do this. We're all struggling. You're probably struggling right now and overwhelmed with your life right now. I'm speaking to the audience here. And it's like, why in the world would you think crawling out of that hole and then going on to gain something wonderful whether that be wealth or financial freedom, is going to come easy. There's not supposed to be any overwhelm. There's not supposed to be any pain. My friends, embrace the pain. Kristin, how has your mindset shifted about being overwhelmed and what that means? What meaning did you used to attach to that? Because again, we can attach any meaning that we want to any feeling, any person, place, or thing. We create the meanings. So how has that shifted? Could you just speak on that, on the idea of growth not always being comfortable?
Yeah, you got to choose your hard. It's going to be hard to go to a 9 to 5 and show up every day. I just have, I always come back to that because that's what I want least. It's going to be hard to have to roll out of bed every single day and have a 2-day weekend, and that's all hard. So you get to choose your hard, and you get to choose, really how much you allow it to affect what you do or don't do. So
Yeah.
it's all going to take effort. It's all going to take learning, and like you said, like, don't expect it to be easy. And I always laugh too, because people will say this and that, and is it a scam? And I laugh because I feel scammed by, I spent 4 years to get a degree, right? You know the story. And here I am with the debt to pay off, and it's, who really got scammed? 40,000 plus or whatever you spend on your degree. So that's hard. I have to pay that off. That's hard.
Yeah.
So
Powerful. You feel scammed by that. I mean, it's like,
truly,
yeah, it's like who got over on who there. It's so, I've been
yeah,
doing this for 12 years. Obviously, I had to change my mindset, but even those of you who are in the I mean, the negativity, like Joan, let me just answer your question, because I see it's comments after comments about, you're not going to get an appointment for another week. Look, if nobody was in this community and there was nothing but open calendars available, you'd look around and you'd say, God, nobody's doing this. This is weird, right? You can always find something to stop you, right? You can always find something to kind of complain about. But there's 700 interviews here, friends. Here's what you do while you're waiting for an appointment for your next appointment with your advisor. You think like an entrepreneur. What do we all do while you wait? Friends, there's 700 interviews that you should study and listen to. There's the challenge material that so often we find that people are not actually as familiar with as they say. They rushed through it. So you could go back and you could review past days. But my advice is to take the time. If it's a week before your next appointment with your advisor, maybe that's a sign that there's a lot of people. The reason why that is because we have so many people. We had 1,700 people sign up for the challenge yesterday. 1,700 people signed up for the challenge just yesterday. We have over 100 business plan advisors. People are waking up to the fact that they need to develop these skills in order to get out of the crappy life that you're also complaining about. So if you complain about your life, but then you are here to learn and do something different, and you're like, oh my God, this isn't how it's supposed to be. I think it should be different. Maybe that's the universe telling you to slow down, because you're getting ready to embark on a big journey, on an important journey, on a journey that's going to require you to have patience, that's going to require you to have discipline, that's going to require you to have that's going to require you to find something to fill your time with if you're waiting on something, with productive things, right? You could be working out. There's so many different things that you could change. If you're going to start building a business and be successful as an entrepreneur, there's a lot of other things that you can do in support of the success of that business. Beginning to exercise, beginning to clean your space out, beginning to set up your technology. Here's what you could do for a week while you wait for your appointment. Pull out your phone and begin practicing doing videos on the phone, because the next thing, even if you were ready to do whatever you're going to do right today. The next challenge you're going to have is, what content do I post? How do I get comfortable on, right? So there's always going to be a challenge. There's always things you can do right now. And if you're waiting for somebody to tell you what to do, then that's the worst thing that you could be doing right now, because that's so much like that factory worker mentality of, okay, I'm here, tell me what to do, right? Tell me what to do. It's like, friends, this is the hottest education company on the internet right now, because we have more success stories than any other educational program out there. We're busy, we're packed to the gills. We've got over it's insane. So just lean in and trust the process that we're going to get you all through this. And Kristin, you've gone through these similar challenges as well, right? Needing to fill your time and needing to wait, go through this challenge, and it's not easy. How have you developed the patience, and how have you become more proactive with your time, rather than waiting for somebody else to fill it for you, or which is what we're all kind of trained to do with school in most jobs?
Yeah, I actually, when I first found Legendary, I was fasting social media. For the most part, I was fasting posting. I kind of wanted to get rid of, caring what people thought about me, and the self doubt, the criticism, and all that. So I was like stepping away. But I found Legendary, and I was so excited about it, but I was still fasting, so I wasn't gonna be posting for probably another like 6 months or so. Like, I just got to watch people's content. I watched so many Wake Up Legendaries. I actually started creating content myself. Trying to just get comfortable in front of the camera, learning, how to do the editing, how to do the text, like what is a trending sound, how to get onto the trends. And I just really took the time to try my best to not pressure myself, and allow myself to like be in a learning state. And also just like be more productive with the time that I had. So like I try to do meal prep and,
Mm.
get all the stuff done that I can that needs to get done while our daughter is awake. And then when it's work time, it's work time,
Yeah.
and I've got a clear path to what I'm going to do. So there's so many ways that you can add, make your life 1% better each day, just by doing one thing, over and over again, building those habits.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's been
Yeah.
really helpful for me.
The meal prep thing and all the little things that help support you like during the week can be so important. And it's like, that anything that you can do, if you all are sitting around like waiting to like be guided through the challenge, I mean, first of all, any of you who just want to buzz through the challenge and want it all opened up and don't want to work with an advisor, you could just email customer support, and just, we're not going to hold you back, right? We're just trying to provide a service of getting on Zoom with you and actually talking to you, explaining our other programs, answering any questions you have about the challenge, et cetera, et cetera. If you don't want to do that, you want to tell us how it should be done, then email customer support, tell them how it should be done. Or we'll give you your money back for the challenge. I mean, if you're within the refund period, if you think that it's not moving fast enough for you, then just, get your money back, whatever. Because the truth is that your $7 or your $2,500 or whatever is not going to change the quality of our lives here, folks, but it might change yours if you come in and follow the system and the kind of guidance that we give. It will happen. It's not going to all happen in a day. Some of you are like, well, I haven't gone through any of the training. Where do I start? I don't know what to do. It's like, that makes sense. That makes sense, right? So we all have to be responsible for our own success, right? And the truth is that if this place isn't working out for you, friends, I always say, you go somewhere else, learn it from somebody else. I think these skills are so important, though, that you should learn them somewhere, somehow, from someone, right? And a lot of times the grass isn't greener on the other side. It's just artificial turf, so we have to learn how to kind of, in order to be good leaders, be good followers, in order to be good teachers, be good students. What is a piece of advice you would give yourself when you were first starting that, that you're able to give yourself because of the experience you have now?
Yeah, I think just, keep creating and keep working on yourself a little bit every single day. Do one thing every day that gets you closer to the goal, and just allow it to be a learning process and help you grow. It's so much more than it looks like. I mean, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, and your mindset, and having fun and like having joy in creating content. Let it just be like a part of your life that helps you grow all around, because if you stick with it, that's what it will do.
Mm, yeah. Well, awesome. It's been great to hear your story and know that another great example of somebody working their way out of rock bottom. And the cool thing is that we are willing to get down in there with you and climb out with you, because, and what that means metaphorically, right? Because you're not actually down in a hole, but that means that, the beauty of this community is that we're not saying it's going to be easy. We're not saying it's going to be fast. We're not saying it's going to be simple. We're not saying anything. The only thing we're saying is that it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. The sacrifice, the pain, building a business is worth it. If you build a business that you're intentional about and that you build knowing what you want to create, not just starting a hot dog stand because, everybody's doing it and you just want to make some fast cash, but starting an online business you can do from home around your kids, retire your husband. You have all of those possibilities. Do it while you travel. Do it from your phone, right? Grow your confidence, your authenticity, build a network of customers and of like-minded people around the world who you feel understands you and you understand them. And that makes all the difference in the world. These are the gifts, not to mention financial and time freedom, but these are the gifts that are all worth waiting for and going through this process, because just like you said earlier, Kirsten, you went through 4 years of education for $40,000 or $50,000, and it doesn't sound like you're planning to work in that particular industry or use that degree. So, be careful what we pray for. Be careful what we ask for sometimes, right? A lot of times, and also when we ask for something, you mentioned scripture and prayer earlier, we have to recognize when it comes. I was actually listening to a clip from TD Jakes earlier, and he said, God doesn't make picnic tables or chairs. He makes trees. Sometimes everything that you have is right in front of you, and you're just not being creative enough to look at that tree and figure out, how can I make those tables and chairs? So, Kirsten, thanks for showing us how to use the trees to make the tables and chairs yet again this morning. Have a legendary day. It looks like your doggy wants a little mommy attention. And come back and keep me posted on your journey, will you?
Yeah, I will. Thank you so much.
All right, Kirsten, we'll see you later. Stay legendary, my friend. All right, everybody, that is a wrap. That is a wrap. My friends, these are great conversations to put this education and this curriculum and these strategies that we're talking about into real world practical sense. We started doing these wake up legendaries with me on them and with a guest client back around the time of the pandemic, actually. And we were going to do it just to kind of let our community know that we were here. We weren't going anywhere. We weren't shutting down or anything like that. Thank God that we were an internet business. We didn't have to shut down, right? So all of the companies and all of the country in March of 2022 were shutting down, and we wanted to start doing the show to let everybody know again that we weren't. Well, what we found was the show was a great way to show our other clients and students just like yourselves how to kind of take these things that we're teaching and what they look like in real life, in real world application. And so I really do mean that. For those of you who are waiting for something or are going through the challenge or even going through the blueprints, please, my friends, listen to these stories, man. Listen to these wake up legendaries. I'm not just telling you to do that to waste your time. I'm telling it to you because I have seen it to be true in my own life and others, that when you hear stories, real world, real life stories from other people just like you, and how they are applying these strategies, it not only makes it all make more sense, but it also helps to give you the hope that you need and the motivation that you need to know that you're on the right path. So please, my friends, if you're waiting to go through the challenge, if you're, at any point, even if you're cruising through another part of our education, or if you've gone on to start just marketing and that's exclusively what you're focusing on now, my friends, please keep listening to these stories because they just are so powerful. And they're doing something for you that you may not realize yet, which is showing you that it's possible. And also creating a different soundtrack inside of your head that when challenges or failures come up, the voices of some of these other people will start to pop up and dominate the airwaves more so than some of your old limiting belief talk. Okay? You'll hear Kirsten. You'll hear some of the other guests saying things that will stick with you. And it will be the voice that you need during a time of challenge. You'll remember somebody's story. You'll remember what somebody said. You'll remember a little soundbite or a little nugget. So I'm not saying go through these wake up legendaries and listen to these every day, even, just if you're going through the challenge. I'm saying that these matter even when you're successful. It's one of the reasons why I do it every day, because it benefits me so much to hear brand new people having success in that, I call it that ignorance on fire zone, right? To where they don't know so much that they're, paralyzed by their expertise, right? Sometimes you know so much that, it can be a gift, but it can also be a curse. It's in that early stage where you're just on fire with that passion and that motivation. And listening to these stories every day is so helpful. So please, my friends, we don't give busy assignments around here. This isn't school. Okay. This is about transforming and changing your life and taking some of this feedback. This is a school for entrepreneurship. It's not a school to learn how to go be a compliant employee. Do you understand that? This is a school for entrepreneurship. This is not your regular trade school, or this is not your regular education experience to learn how to go be a legal secretary or an administrator or a nurse or anything else like that. And there's nothing wrong with any of those professions. It's just a different mindset here. It's a mindset of personal responsibility. It's a mindset of complaints and excuses just don't land here. Nobody goes for them because you make your own bed and you get to lay in it. You don't have to make an excuse. You don't have to tell us that your dog ate your homework here. You don't have to do that. You don't have to live like that here, right? So if you adopt these sort of hardcore values that I'm presenting to you, which are really not hardcore at all, they're really just the values that you need in order to get what you want, which is financial and time freedom. These are the values that you have to adapt, right? So please hang in there and keep listening to us and know that we're not here to jump on you, pounce on you. We're not here to be even scare you straight. That's not even our style. Sometimes I get a little passionate. Sometimes I like to rant a little bit, but it's because, dang it, sometimes you got to get a little bit crazy for people to listen to you, and you got to shake them and wake them up a little bit. After all, this is called Wake Up Legendary. All right, my friends, have a fantastic day. Thank you again, Kirsten, for an amazing show, and we'll see y'all back here tomorrow for another episode.